everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
We will continue with our seminar topic. Okay. Forward or left to take the seminar? Only Meghna. Reina, yours is over, right?
You didn't give me seminar topic.
Okay. Elvina's is over. Then Nevin's over. Vipul is over. Only Meghna. Okay. So that chapter will get over after this particular topic. So after that, we have few more periods are there. So we will start with our revision from the very first chapter, that is computer overview. All right. Then every day we will revise one topic, one chapter wise. All right. Okay. So let's start. Meghna, all the share screen is enabled.
Good morning, everyone. So today I'm going to take the topic grid computing and the blockchain technology. So I will start to share the screen. So what do you mean by grid computing? The grid computing is a group of network computer which work together. Group of network computers which work together as virtual supercomputer to perform large tasks such as analyzing huge sets of data or weather modeling. In simple words, we can say it is a computer network in which each computer resource are shared with every other computer in the system. The uses of grid computing are it can solve larger, more complex problems in shorter time, easier to collaborate with other organizations, make better use of existing hardware. Any system or device connected to a network is called a node. These different nodes temporarily come together to solve a single large task and to reach common goal. And this grid computer are made up of applications used for computational computer problems that are interconnected in a parallel networking environment. It connects each PC and combines information to form one application that is computer intensive. And we can say this grid computing is divided into two: data grid and the CPU processing grid computing. The data grid computing is used to manage large distributed data having the required multi-user access. The CPU or processor grid for processing move from one PC to another as needed, or a large task is divided into subtasks and allotted to various nodes for parallel processing. In grid computing, grids are owned and managed by the organization. The grid computing uses systems like distributed computing, distributed information. Currently, the grid computing is being used in various institutions to solve a lot of mathematical, analytical, and physics problems. Next one is blockchain technology. The blockchain technology works on the concept of decentralized and shared database when each computer has a copy of the database. The blockchain is a distributed ledger technology DLT, that allows data to be stored globally on thousands of servers while letting everyone else interface is near real time. This makes it difficult for users to gain control or game the network. Each block has some data. That data is called the header. So how does it work? First, they send the request to transaction. Then the request is broadcast to all nodes in the network and verified by the all nodes. The block gets added in the already existing chain of blocks. Then the transaction is complete. By this, the third party cannot hack or interfere in this process. And this technology uses decentralized constraints to maintain the network, means not centrally controlled by the bank or the government. The purpose of blockchain technology is it's an online ledger that uses data structure to simplify the way we transact. It allows users to manipulate the ledger in a secure way without help of the third party. And on the surface, the blockchain seems to be very solid, but there are 51% of chance of attacks. And from India, the Yes Bank is using the blockchain technology. And why the blockchain is the future. In this network, a copy of the blockchain is present to every user. So, to tamper the network, one has to change the information in the whole chain. Thus, it becomes nearly impossible to break the security. This is the reason why the blockchain is the future of the modern data transfer technology. And it can be used like for payment for the content creators, etc. And IBM is the largest company in the world for blockchain technology. And for example of blockchain technology, it is Bitcoin. And by this, I conclude my seminar. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Everyone turn on your video. Sure. For her. So it's a blockchain technology. I know that there will be some confusions in this because it's a new topic for you. So we will discuss all the topics that Vithur has taken, then everybody else has taken. So tomorrow I will give you the next class. I will give you a brief introduction about this. If I get some videos related to that, I will show you that. So it will be more clear for you. Okay? Because it's emerging trends. So many of you have heard about it, but not that much into it. That means you don't know how it works. So let's find out some images so that your all topics will become will be simplified. Okay. So that's all in this particular chapter. So we are completing our syllabus. So today let's start with the revision of the first chapter. So many students have joined late 11th, isn't it? Who was Nevin, then who was joined late? Anthony, Rona, Meenakshi, Sana, Grishma, Evelyn, Anjo, turn on your video. Sana, Grishma, you seldom come in this class and at least you turn on the video. Sana also. If we have network connectivity issues, you have to inform me before the class. Okay. Okay, so let's start. This is a revision. It is not teaching. So what I will do is, I will call out the names. I will show you the slides. You can read it. And today itself, you study whatever revision topics we are covering in this class. You have to study it. Otherwise, finally, for the examination, it will become a what kind of task? Herculean task, because you will be having a lot to study for your annual examination. So we will split it into small, divide and conquer. Technology we will apply here. Okay, Anthony?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's start with Anthony. I'll show you the slides. Don't worry. You have to read. Then I will tell you to stop. And one slide, once it is over, if you have any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll continue with the next slide. Okay, very simple topic here. That topic is what is computer, what is the use of computer, advantages, different parts of computer that you have studied in small class. Okay. Yes, Anthony.
Computer is an electronic device under control of instructions stored in its memory that can accept data, process the data according to specified rules, produce information and store the information for future use. Because of different units work as a single unit in computer for central objective, that's why it is a system that is computer system.
So when you first you understand. So a computer is an electronic device under the control of instructions stored in a memory that can access data process. You understand and you have to read. All right, Anthony, continue.
The data are raw numbers or other findings which by themselves are of limited value. Information is data that has been converted into a meaningful and useful content. Computers are being used extensively nowadays in every field, in form of laptops, desktops, smartphones, gadgets, etc.
So the important things from this um, slide is what is data, what is information, what is computer, and example. Study now itself. I'll ask you questions. Then we will continue with the next slide. This I will send you to your group. Now itself you study this. What is computer? What is data? What is information? Then examples of computer. Grishma, what is data?
Raw facts that cannot be used in its original form.
Right. Evelyn, what is information? Evelyn, you there? Anjo,
Information is data which can be converted into meaningful and useful context.
what is information, Donna?
It is the data. It is data which can be converted into meaningful content.
Donna, you can continue.
Functionalities of a computer. Any digital computer performs 5 functions in gross term. First one, take data as input, stores data or instructions, process those stored data, generate the output, and control all above steps.
So, study it now, everyone. The different functions of Sana, what are the different functionalities of computer?
Take data as input, stores data, then processes these data, generate the output, and then they does the steps,
Control
control
everything. Very good. The basic computer organization. This also you have to study the technical questions. What are the different functional components of a computer? The functions are different. The previous slide was functions of computer. Here, functional components of computer. And there is a diagram. So, draw the different functional components of computer. Question is asked, we have to draw in this way. Not compulsory, it should be colorful. But draw it easy. Input and see the arrows. Arrow. Input device only to the system. Output device not giving anything to the computer. Arrow is from the CPU, central processing unit, to the output device. But memory, we can store data in the memory and we can retrieve data from the memory. That is why memory unit, arrow, both. Then the motor layer is central processing unit, microprocessor unit. Actually, there are two things inside central processing unit. This is the logical division. When you see it as a hardware, it will be a very small thing. ALU and PEU. This architecture is developed by this person, right? It's known with this name, von Neumann computer architecture. Hope you have learned this. So try to draw it in your book, everyone. Just a rough drawing. Don't have much time. Nevin, are you drawing?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you drawing or doing something else? Write down. Functional components of computer.
Read. How to read?
Huh?
How to
No,
read?
no. You have to draw the diagram in your book. That's what. Whatever I asked you is correct. Before, are you there? Before,
Yes, ma'am.
Amiraj, have you taken a screenshot? Huh? Amiraj? Looking at the screen and drawing. All right. Amiraj, continue reading. Amiraj, unmute. Basic computer
Yes, ma'am.
organization. Read. What are the different units?
Input or output unit.
Ah.
Input unit, a device through which the data and process the programs from the outside world enter the computer system. Output device, a device through which the results stored in the computer memory are made available outside the computer system.
Okay. So here two questions. What is an input unit? What is an output? Nevin, what is an output unit?
It's a device which gives the result.
This is the result. Okay. So continue reading. And you have to learn only the example. Not like what is a keyboard, what is a mouse, what is a scanner. You don't have to study. Examples of input device. Only you need. You don't have to study what is IOM, OMR, OCR. Just learn the examples, the names only. Okay, can read the names. Nevin.
Those are the names of the input devices.
Ah.
Keyboard, mouse, scanner, OMR, OCR, MICR, microphone, webcam, graphics tablets, trackball, barcode reader, gamepad, and joystick.
All these things you know except a few tablets you know. OMR, OCR. Only the other things you know already. So you have to learn only a few examples of input device. Okay. Karina, examples of input devices?
Keyboard, mouse, scanner, microphone, graphics card, OMR.
Okay, that's all. Now, Nevin, you can continue reading.
The examples, or I have to say this.
No, first you read the definition, then the example.
Output devices. A device that can receive data from computer or another device and create output with that data is called output device. Examples of various output devices are as monitor. A monitor is an output device that is responsible for receiving data from a computer and displaying that information as text or images for user to see. Speakers receives sound signal from a computer and then plays that sound signal, and thus we hear songs or music or any other audio. Projector gets data from a computer and displays or projects the same information onto a screen or a wall. Projector cannot directly accept data from a user and send the data to another device.
What about your touch screen, your mobile phone touch screen? What kind of device it is? Is it input or output?
I didn't hear what you said.
Hmm?
I didn't hear.
The question is your mobile phone touch screen. So what is it? Is it an input device or output device?
It's input.
Any
That's
other
the
answer?
touch screen.
Amal Raj.
It's both.
Hello? Who told the answer now? Just now?
It's both.
It's both. It is an input device and also it's an output device. How it will be an output device? Because we are viewing things in that screen. So it acts as a monitor. If you want to open some app, what you have to do? Again, you have to tap on the screen. So it is acting as an input device. So both. It is both input, your screen. Not the other screen, only touch screen. Now, next one, both input, output devices. And so it can be.
Wait, ma'am, it is loading.
We will wait for you.
Which one? Output devices?
Basic computer, both input or output devices. That case.
An input or output device is capable of receiving data from users or another devices and also sending data to another devices or computers. That means devices which can be used as both input device and output device are called input or output devices. Some examples of input output devices are USB drive. Ma'am, explain. Ma'am,
Huh? It's known as pen drive, flash stick, or flash drive.
no, we should read full.
Yes.
USB drive, also known as pen drive or flash stick, works as both input device to computer and as an output device. USB drives receive or save data from a computer as an input, and it can also send data to a computer or another device. XML or fax machine has a scanner which is an input device and a small printer to provide output. Modems, it is used to transmit and receive data from one computer to another computer or other devices using telephone lines. CD or RW drives and DVD RW drives receives data from a computer as input to copy onto and save into writable CD or DVD. We also use CDs or DVDs to transfer data to a computer. Touch screen. Touch screen is a both input and output device. By touching the screen, input is provided, and being a screen, it is used as an output device. Headset. Headset consists of speaker as an output device and a microphone functions as an input device.
So both input and output device. Many other. Now we are using headphone. It has a mic and the speak. Both others. So that's why it is called as input. So okay. Page also will that will continue the next class. Okay. Tell me some examples of devices which are both input and output.
USB drive or pen drive, then CD, then touch screen, then
Headphone.
headsets,
All right. And fax machine. Right. Now it's one did you read it? Control unit.
I have to read
Yes. You have to read.
control unit. It organizes the computer to work computer as single unit. Arithmetic or logic unit. It performs basic arithmetic operations such as addition and subtraction, performs logical operators such as and, or, and not. Most modern arithmetic logic units have a small amount of special storage units called registers that can be accessed faster than the main memory. Memory, a collection of cells, each with a unique physical address. Most computers are byte addressable. Cell at address 1111110 contains 10101010.
Okay. So the control unit control. Arithmetic logic unit means we're doing for arithmetic logical calculations, and we have micros CPU has some registers. So these registers are used. You know that your many systems are nowadays you can see 16-bit microprocessor, then 32-bit microprocessor, 64 bits. What is this? 16 bits, 32 bits, 64 bits. This is the memory, the size of the register. Okay, size of the register. We can see in your system, we can check it with right click, copy. You can see something called 64-bit operating. Okay, so this 64-bit means that is the size of the register. 64 bit. You see the processor Intel Core i5 processor. So if you want to see your processor name, you can right click my computer or directly click double tap on my computer. And you can see the speed, everything. And memory RAM is 8 GB. The rest we will see, continue the next. Thank you.